Hi everyone, thanks so much for joining me. In this video we're going to do Uttita Hasta Padangusthasana, or maybe easier known as hand to or extended hand to big toe pose. Truly it's just like when we do it laying down with the added component of balance. So we're going to be balancing on one leg, taking the leg out in front, taking it across the midline, and taking it out to the side. Okay, I'm going to have a wall back behind me as well as a strap. None of those things are necessarily required. Maybe the strap, actually. If you can't easily catch your big toe, I would highly advise a strap. You really want to keep the head of the arm bones grounded, a sense of ease in the neck. So as we strengthen and stretch the hips and hamstrings in this challenging balance pose, make sure that you're not adding tension to your wrists, shoulders, or neck, if I could speak, or neck. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead, head on back here to the mat, and first just setting up in your mountain pose, or excuse me, samastitihi equals standing pose. Hopefully we'll get through this, okay? So really finding that sense of length, that sense of lightness, that sense of intention. Okay, just practice for a moment. Take an arm out in front of you. Okay, feel how much the head of the arm bone can go forward, okay? And that you really want to keep it grounded, not so much so, okay, that you're tensing and tightening back here, but with a sense of space in the shoulder joint, a sense of ease, okay, in the hand, sense of ease around your neck. So if it's not super easy, to catch a foot, this is where this comes in handy. Now, I'm really so not focused on the height of the leg. What you really want is that you keep your center lines, because center lines the feet, okay, ankles, knees, hips, parallel to each other, sense of length, okay, in your spine, okay, an appropriate engagement. So if your leg ends up barely lifting off the floor, but you are keeping those lines, your hips are level, you feel length in the spine, and you're feeling a stretch, that's success, okay? That's the measure of success in this pose. If you have a lot of flexibility, your leg easily comes up, okay, and you can really explore all this, then the challenge becomes, can you feel with awareness, with intention? Because the more flexible someone is, okay, the further away it seems are the signals of sensory awareness. Okay, so each has its challenges, whether you're tight and strong or really flexible, but maybe awareness is a challenge, right? So we all have our challenges. So pick a foot, okay? I'm gonna and I would put the strap, I really like the strap, if you can, around the ball of the foot, because then you have something to push into. If you have it around the arch, it's fine, it can work, it kind of stays in place, but you don't really push with the arch. You push with the ball of the foot or the heel. You're really trying to draw the arch up because it connects to the center line of the leg. And the ball and the balls of the feet and the heels are what's helping root and ground. Okay, so it all works in partnership. But find a way to put the strap around your foot that best works for you. Soften the standing leg for a moment, shift your weight just a bit, and then lengthen. Take your foot out in front, keep it low for the moment, and just focus on more of the sense of alignment. Typically, the lifted leg is going to want to turn out, and for this, coming forward, we're trying to keep it neutral. Okay, so really paying attention here. I draw the toes back toward my hip and push into the heel. No, push into the ball of the foot. Okay, so thigh bones in, arm bones in, lengthen. At any time, you can straighten the standing leg. The way I instruct is you could do it either way, with it slightly bent or straight. You want to feel a sense of as much balance as possible. All right, so you're just lifting the leg to the degree, okay, that you can keep the hips mostly level. If you've seen my video on this position, but in reclining, the Supta Padangusthasana, I have a strap around the hip and the other foot to kind of help keep this leg, thigh bone grounded and space in the hips. Here, it's not really doable, not so easily, so you have to do it from within, okay? So keeping the hips Oh my goodness. As level as you can. Lengthen the spine. Okay. So I'm not going to press my leg too much here, but really just keeping that space in the joints. I'm going to start, okay, crossing the midline. So holding on, okay, with both ends here, and you can always pause in between things and return, but can you see this? The hip, right, will have a tendency, and I'm exaggerating, okay, but you really want to try to keep the hips level, keep it from hiking up, keeping that thigh bone grounded, okay, and as we cross the midline, paying attention to what your ankle will want to do. So I always, encourage students even to be near a wall, but to let go. So I'm trying to tell myself to do the same. Okay, so have the arm bones in, thigh bones in, lengthen. Okay, I usually don't have as much flexibility across the midline as I do when I take the leg out to the side. So I'm going to bring it to center, make sure you're breathing. I'm trying to remind myself. Okay, and then here I know I can take the leg higher. I get more feedback, okay, as I lift it up, okay, for me. But I'm still looking to keep my hips level, lengthen, okay, so that line from the center of the foot, okay, reaching upward from the center of the ankles, knees, hips, engaging pelvic floor, base of glutes toward the belly button, between the shoulder blades, to the sternum, center of the throat, base of skull, crown of head, okay, lengthen, maybe lift, okay, most importantly is to get the feedback, okay, that feels right, feels good for you, okay, and then bringing the leg to the center. What's an interesting challenge, okay, now that everything's super tired, so it's probably a mean challenge, but it's to see how much can you engage in the leg, okay, in the quadricep, the glutes, length in the end space, and yet engaging the abs to let go of the strap. Can you, okay, keep the leg at whatever height you have it, and then carefully release. So you don't want it to flare up, okay, the hip flexors, you're just kind of checking in. The engagement of the front of the thigh is what helps support and secure the stretch in the back, okay? So when the quadricep is engaged, partnered with the glute, then we get a really safe, good stretch in the back of the thigh, the calf, okay? So we'll just kind of peek in to side two. Okay, same thing, and we are not symmetrical, okay, so balance might be easier or more difficult, okay, and it would be normal either way. All right, so center lines the feet, bringing energy up, lengthen, it's a very effortful pose, okay, and then maybe softening the leg, shifting so that you can just start to take the leg out in front, paying attention, okay, what is the more mobility, so I have a ton of mobility in my ankle, almost to my own detriment for stability and awareness, okay? So I really try to keep the ankle centered to root across my feet really evenly, okay? Drawing the knee up toward the hip joint, so space in the joints, lengthen the spine, exploring your appropriate height, okay? Without it becoming, okay, all about height, okay? So keeping the thigh bone grounded, keeping the hips as level as possible, okay? Engaging the front of the thigh, okay, to support the stretch in the back, crossing, okay, the midline, and paying attention to the center line. Is it maintained? Okay, do you still feel the center line? Okay, seamless in your left leg, or standing leg, that would be my left leg. Okay, head of the arm bones and the shoulder joints, smooth, deep breaths. And then, as you're ready, I'm trying to be, I know I'm not even as far as the length of time I'm spending in, from side to side, but in your practice, you really want to be equal as best you can. Okay, so I'm taking the leg out to the side. Okay, this is an external rotation in the hip. One thing to notice, usually before I take it out, I have a slight external rotation, okay, just to maintain those open channels, okay, hips level, thigh bones and hip joints, arm bones and shoulders, a sense of ease in the neck, length, and then bringing the leg back to the center. Make sure you're breathing. Okay, if you're doing this with me, make sure you're breathing, whether you're doing this pose with me or not. Okay, all right, maybe, okay, I'm gonna try to do that same thing here, okay, without having my elbow at the wall. Okay, removing the strap from my thigh and yet keeping alignment. A strap from my foot. See, all the language is going at this point. Okay, maybe maintaining. Okay, breathing and releasing. Shaking it out. Okay, checking in. Like, are we jello? At this point. Okay, checking in with your ankles. You could do this with your foot off the ground or circle, kind of get into the toes a bit. Okay, we're getting into both legs. Look at me, still, wall is there, so good. And I have both feet on the ground. All right, checking in with how you feel though. So, Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana. So, hand to big toe pose, or hand to strap to big toe pose. I hope that this is helpful, that you have a wonderful day. I would love to hear from you. Namaste.